This clip is from my conversation with Lee Anderson, a cybersecurity expert who pulls back the curtain on red teams, social engineering, and the psychology that makes people so easy to manipulate online.
Was that when you had your first experience here, was that immediately like, we have to do something about this? Or was it, what was that process like for you to make that decision?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. There are times that I do want to turn a blind. I don't want to engage in this. I don't want to see it. But then I've got kids at home too, and I don't want this to be them or their friends or anything. And if we can make a difference, every little difference hopefully is allowing law enforcement to be better equipped to be able to handle, especially with AI, just the more and more that it's happening.
Do you find that most of the agencies that you work with, they're like, they want to get the information that you have and they take it pretty seriously?
Yeah, I think it's taken some time to build up that respect, but I think they're seeing more and more the quality of work that we're delivering, and it's been really good to be able to have a more regular interaction with them.
Can you talk about one that worked effectively that's out there? Or?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, yeah, if you go, so one of the areas that we have a lot of educational material on our website. So innocentlivesfoundation.org will have, and there are a few cases on there where in one instance was these parents were concerned about their daughter who had been communicating with somebody on their phone and had been, trying to remember, they kind of overlap sometimes, but asking for inappropriate pictures, threatening them to blackmail them, especially with AI coming up and being able to generate images with just a person's face. I mean, you got to be careful with allowing your schools to publish pictures of your kids online. I mean, they can take all that stuff and run amok with it. And anyways, just allowing, so we work with parents who are concerned about their kids, or so we take online, just like if people know of somebody, they can submit a case online. But yeah, it's just so many ways. And gaming platforms, if your kids can chat on games, that's an inroad for attackers to come in and interact with them and pretend they're somebody that they're not.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are your, like, I don't want to, you don't have, like, what age range are your kids? Like, are they teenagers or are they little kids still?
Yeah, no, teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what should parents be teaching their kids about using devices, knowing that there's no way to completely separate yourself from using a device in today's world? Yeah.
So one of the biggest things that I really try to communicate with in the articles and whatnot that I write with the Innocent Lives Foundation is that you need to, one, create a safe place where your kids are willing to come to you, that they're not gonna be afraid of being punished or yelled at or whatever, regardless if they've done something stupid. It doesn't matter. Like, if they've come to you, it's because they trust you, and they need to trust you. They need to trust a responsible adult. And so it's creating an open environment where that can happen. There are apps and devices that can help monitor internet activity, and those are good guardrails. And I think a lot of people use those to maybe spy on their kids. But kids are smart. They know how to get around guardrails at school or whatever you do at home. And so again, everything needs to be done in open communication with your kid. You let them know, this is what we're installing this on your phone, or we're putting these devices in the house because we care about you. We know we don't want things to accidentally happen to you or whatever. And so again, just having that open dialogue. And then lastly, have your kids teach you. That's a big thing, because the kids, sometimes they know so much more about what's going on. I mean, I'm constantly surprised about new apps or new games or whatnot. And so allowing your kid to teach you, it builds that relationship and also helps you just get a little better insight into their lives.
That's a great piece of advice. I love that. Instead of trying to go back behind and be like, figure out back channel what kids are using, just, hey, teach me what's going on. Teach me about your whatever it is. I love that.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. That came from one of our board members at the Innocent Lives Foundation, but I've really, same reaction. I've loved that perspective.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the board member for coming up with that.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. What about like device use? Do you think that some devices are more secure than others? Or are you a fan of like letting your kids have devices at home or in general?
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't let them have a smartphone until they're 16. And then social media doesn't even come until after they've kind of shown they can be responsible there.
I think that's reasonable. Have you read the book, The Anxious Generation?
I haven't, but I've read other books by Jonathan Haidt, and I really like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like that. And as far as like devices that are more secure or not than others. I mean, sometimes we may be tempted to give our kids an old device, but those typically are no longer supported
That's the
by
tricky
security
spot, right? Yeah.
patches. And so, yeah, sometimes you have to maybe spend a little bit more if you're going to give them something that can be a little bit more, at least technically secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, man, because you're like, you want your kids to be like able to, I don't know, like you want them to be able to operate in a digital world, but also like
Yeah.
freaking scary, man. It's so scary. And good, well-intentioned kids, like it's hard. So you mentioned a couple sites that you're aware of when we were emailing back and forth. You mentioned Telegram, Instagram, Snapchat, Wiz, and Kick, and in the past Mastodon. What is it about those sites that makes them so dangerous for kids?
Yeah, some of them. Well, for one, there was a recent ruling. I think a New Mexico judge successfully sued Meta, who owns Facebook and Instagram, and because they knew that what they were doing was damaging to kids. They had received evidence that their methods were purposely addicting and bringing in teenagers. And so the lawsuit went through. And so it's these sites, even as legitimate and as prolific as they are used to target kids. And the predators online, they know how these algorithms work, how to get suggested as friends and whatnot. And yeah, and so those are the big ones you think would be more regulated. And then you get smaller ones like, I don't know how small Telegram is, but I mean, that's just, there's all kinds of badness there. You have Discord, which people can stand up their own server and people can connect to. And so it's not regulated. Mastodon is similar, is that it's just this disparate, unregulated system. And so kids connect because their friends are, because a game told them to. And yeah, it's all downhill from there. And so, and that's just the list of currently. I mean, things shift and change as it goes on. And so I would say all social media is suspect, and make sure to communicate that to your kids.
I got an advertisement in my social media feed the other day that's like Instagram with baked in teen accounts now. Does that make any difference? Does it even help? Or is it more just like, I'm guessing it's an answer that covers their bases because of the lawsuit you just described?
That's kind of what my guess is. I don't know exactly how it works. Hopefully it's better, but yeah, I don't know.
Wasn't there legislation in Utah about social media accounts for kids a couple years ago?
I think so. And I don't know how that works on a local level, because these devices, we're not connected to a Utah network that can regulate whether or not somebody under 13 is accessing social media. And so I think it's a step in the right direction. I think if enough governors are pushing towards that, then maybe we can get some broader legislation that'll put pressure on the companies. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I was just, when you were talking about it, I thought, oh, that's there, and I don't even. And also, to your point, kids are smart. If they want it, they're going to probably figure out a way around it. You know, kids can, I'm sure there's a way around it if they want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's great. That's great. So, I read about online, like, is it basically anywhere where there's a chat? Is that what, is that?
Yeah, that's a big red flag.
Because I mean, I actually didn't even know what some of those things were. I still don't know. I don't know what Wiz, Kick are. I've heard of Telegram, Instagram, Snapchat, of course, but yeah.
I'm less familiar with them as well, but they're just other, like if kids want to have a chat that's only like, somebody tells them this is a secure, like this, only a small group of people can have access to it or whatever. I don't know. Or maybe it's just, I don't know the impetus behind jumping to those platforms.
But it sounds like they're showing up and you're seeing.
Yeah. And I've seen law enforcement publish on their websites, those specific sites as well, saying, make sure your kids aren't on those. And a lot of times, I mean, some of these apps that may not even be on there, they can be disguised as a calculator on the kid's phone. And you don't know, just by looking at it, you wouldn't know. And so again, having that open communication so your kids don't feel like they have to hide from you is a huge thing to focus on.
How do you go about building that? How do you coach people to go about building that communication with their kids?
That's a good question. I think it's going back to that, learning to stay in control of your emotions, and not, if your kid comes to you saying they lost X amount of money because they did this, or somebody's asking for nude pictures of them or whatever. I mean, not to not let them feel like you think any less of them because they're coming to you with that. And so it's developing, it's learning to love your kid, learn to be curious, spend time with them.
This was a short clip from the 4Fs podcast, where I sit down with founders, veterans, and executives, world-class experts that you won't hear on every other show, to talk about leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal reinvention. For the full conversation and more context, tap the link in the description or search 4Fs podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. And if you're enjoying these shorter episodes, make sure to follow along so you don't miss tomorrow's clip.
Welcome to the 4F, 4Fs with Jeff.